opportunity to continue on a mission and a vision with the men that are in place, with Bob and with Frank and with Neil. Started 3 years ago. And we've grown together. We've grown individually. There's complete transparency and respect professionally and personally. So there's no place I'd rather be, and I'm humbled to be given this opportunity to continue on the significant work that's in front of us.
We're hungry. We're hungrier than ever to keep this organization moving forward, and we've got committed. We've got people that are committed to each other and to this group, to this fan base, to this ownership, to this business operation, to this baseball operation, to keep growing and to keep getting better. And whether we're in the last day or we've got a 50-year contract, I don't think that impacts how we operate.
Two of the men working to get the Pirates back to the World Series. Neil Huntington, Clint Hurdle yesterday receiving 3-year contract extensions. Today, the Pirates going for a series win against the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi again, everybody. Along with Bob Walk, I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Smokowski will join us in just a bit. The Pirates looking to win the rubber game today. Wainwright and Volquez, the pitching matchup. But the big news yesterday, Bob, Neil Huntington and Clint Hurdle receiving 3-year contract extensions. That's got to mean a lot in terms of continuity for this ball club.
Well, it certainly does. And it's really just kind of a sign of what happens when you have that success. You get rewarded for it. Both these guys have worked so hard to turn this organization around. They've both had great success in doing so, and getting rewarded with those contracts makes all the sense in the world. As you said, it brings continuity. But both of them, knowing them the way we do, they're going to want to turn the page and get right back to work and really not think too much of this. They're all about continuing the success that they have started.
Not much time to think about it. They are going back to work this afternoon, looking for a win here in Game 3 against the St. Louis Cardinals. Adam Wainwright, tough customer on the hill for St. Louis. They'll face Edinson Volquez. One more before the Pirates head out on the road to take on the Cubs on Tuesday. At home for the first time this season, Edinson Volquez has taken the hill. The Allegheny Health Network injury update. Just announced this afternoon that the Pirates' prized pitching prospect, Jameson Taillon, will undergo season-ending Tommy John surgery. He's expected to miss a year to 18 months. And General Manager Neil Huntington had this to say about Taillon earlier today.
When the ligament ruptures, it's an acute injury, and it's something that just happens, and it blows on one pitch. His is not ruptured; it's compromised, and that does happen over time. In Jameson's case, he made us aware of it this spring, and as we worked through it, he and we felt the best option was to go ahead and have it operated on.
Well, Jameson Taillon, a lot of folks expected to see him in a big league uniform this year, Bob, but that's not going to happen now.
No, definitely not going to happen now, and it's really pushed it back to, you would think that realistically, toward the end of next season, you would hope, but we'll just have to wait and see. One of the things that you like about having the depth in your organization and having a productive minor league system that has multiple prospects, pitching prospects, is that you can afford to absorb injury at times. And so we're going to have to absorb this one as an organization, because Taillon is certainly someone that we have been counting heavily to come up and not only just make a big league team, but pitch well. Be a teammate of Cole's for a long time. That's kind of been what I think everybody's dream has been, that those guys would provide that great 1-2 punch for the next 6, 7, 10 years. Who knows? But it's just been put on hold.
So the pitcher of the day now is Edinson Volquez, making his 11th start against the St. Louis Cardinals. He's 3-5 against them. His first pitch of the game to Matt Carpenter is in for a strike call. Well, 0-1 to Carpenter. Carpenter 294 so far. Had a home run in game 1 of this series. And lines a single to center field, and he has started each of these 3 games with a first inning single. Behind Carpenter in the lineup, take a look at the lineup written up by Mike Matheny. John Jay, his first start of the series. Matt Holliday against Edinson Volquez in his career is 8 for 20 with a double and 2 homers. Then Matt Adams, Yadier Molina, Alan Craig. Johnny Peralta hitting 7th. Daniel Descalso starting at second base today, hitting 8th. And the pitcher Adam Wainwright will bat 9th. Pitch to John Jay is in for a strike.
You see Edison's numbers last season. There's something that he probably really doesn't enjoy looking back on, especially that 5.71 ERA. But a fresh start here in Pittsburgh, to be able to turn the page and hopefully get back to where he was a few years back with Cincinnati before he hurt his arm.
Tony Sanchez behind the plate today. Gabby Sanchez at first base for the Pirates with Carpenter aboard. 1-1 count on John Jay. Sanchez making his first start of the season. Travis Ishikawa on the bench today. So Clint trying to get Gabby in there, as well as some other players who haven't had starts yet, like Jose Tabata, Tony Sanchez, and Clint Barmas. Volquez 1-1. And Jay lines it to center field right at McCutcheon. So let's take a look at the Pirates defensively this afternoon. In the outfield, left to right, Starling Marte. McCutcheon in center, just made the play, and Tabata in right. Alvarez with Barmas on the left side of the infield, Walker and Sanchez on the right side. And Pirates doing some Sanchezing today. Tony doing to catch it. And Jose, his first start. Jose's done well against the Cardinals offensively. Getting a chance today, batting against a right-handed pitcher in Adam Wainwright. Holliday to the left side, backhanded by Barmas. They'll get the one in the middle. Holliday reaches on the fielder's choice. Carpenter is forced out.
Now you're just going to get one on this ball. It is poorly hit
see it just rolling by the time it got to Barmes. It's in the hole. He had a long ways to go to get it. You just make sure you get one. This is certainly not a double play ball. Got to have that good throw so that Walker can keep his foot on the bag. We've seen that get reviewed already.
Yes, we have. 2 outs, and the Pirates defense shifting for first baseman Matt Adams. Alvarez alone on the left side of the infield with Barmes up the middle and Walker in short right field. That'll be a traditional shift when there is not a man on second base when Adams is at the plate. Goes the other way. Now a play. Also a man on third. Second or third, the Pirates will have a different defensive alignment. So far, good start for Adams. 389. He leads the team in doubles with 3.
See that defense bringing Barmes over to cover that right field side at second base. Did Adams get a base hit through there yesterday?
He did. Ball and 2 strikes.
A breaking ball that got underneath the bat. Good action to it.
Volquez 1-2 pitch. Adams fouls it off.
A good command of that fastball right there where Sanchez wanted it. That front shoulder of Volquez is what they really want him to stay closed as long as he can. Been working with him, trying to get the glove and the ball apart, with the main action being the ball coming out of the glove instead of vice versa. We'll talk about that some more as we go along today.
Volquez strikes out Adams, gives up a hit. That's it. Pirates coming to bat in the bottom of the first. At PNC Park, Pirates and Cardinals, game 3 of this 3-game series, final game of this 6-game home stand. And we talked about Jameson Taillon undergoing Tommy John surgery, and this is what he just tweeted out. Thank you for all the well wishes and prayers. I'm really blessed to have so many people that genuinely care about me. Going to be stronger. And we certainly have seen a number of pitchers come back from Tommy John surgery and be just that, stronger.
Yeah, this is a situation that you don't really, I guess there's always some concern, but it's not like if you turn the page back, go back 20, 30 years ago where, you weren't really positive what the results were going to be if you went through this. But now it's almost becoming a rather routine type deal for pitchers to have. I mean, you see them all over the league that have this type of situation. Wainwright, you see his numbers there. He's had Tommy John.
He missed the 2011 season. And he's been okay. He's been better than okay. One of the best. 1-1 pitch to Marte. 2-1.
So, I mean, you feel bad for Taillon having to go through something like this, but it certainly shouldn't have, in the long term, a big negative effect on his career. He should be just fine. Just have to wait maybe a year longer than thought we were going to.
Foul ball. Getting Marte right off the end of the bat. On the knob.
Yep.
Allegheny Health Network Super Mo giving us a good look at it. Marte's reached base safely in all 17 of his games against the Cardinals.
I just got word from the brain, one of the gypsies down there, that it's about a third of major league pitchers at the start of this season have had Tommy John. I mean, that's a ton.
Marte is out, grounding out to Wainwright.
You think about it, a third, 1 out of 3 have gone through this. It really is becoming, something that happens all the time.
Fiery lineup after Marte. Tampa batting second, then McCutchen. Pedro Alvarez, 13 career home runs against St. Louis, the most against any team. He's also had 3 in the postseason against the Cards. Walker, the Sanchez's, Barmes, and then Volquez. Strike delivered. Jose Tabata facing Adam Wainwright in the bottom of the first inning. Tabata 6 for 16 against Wainwright. Lifts this one in the air to shallow center, but John Jay able to run underneath it, make the catch. 2 men out. Now McCutchen coming up.
I wonder if Tommy John himself ever thought about when he had the first one that 30% of major league pitchers eventually, decades down the road, were going to go through this same operation.
I'm sure he did.
It's just
sure he never
well, yeah, I mean, it's just
considered
a rhetoric question.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's just amazing that what has happened in modern medicine.
Looks at that one for ball 1-1.
I don't think it's to the point to where the third of them, the careers would now be over with, but guys used to have to just live then with however it healed on its own.
Charlie Morton had it, came back last year, got 7 wins.
It looks sharp now.
And this one ripped down third, just foul. This year, Dr. Frank Jobe passed away, the pioneer of Tommy John surgery. Performed it on Tommy John. Ulnar collateral ligament. That's the issue. 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. .124 pitchers have had it in the big leagues. Wainwright among them. 2 outs, base is empty, 2 ball 2 strike pitch to Kutch. He'll get another. Wainwright, it's 250th career appearance. His 19th start versus the Pirates. And his first start against the Reds, shut him out 1-0, struck out 9. He is 1-0. 2-2 pitch. Doesn't walk many guys. He's got kind of a lofty goal of making more starts than walks issue. And with him, it's possible.
Loves to go deep in ball games. It's tough to get him out of there.
McCutchen down to third. Carpenter gloves it. And the Pirates gone in order in the first inning. Wainwright, just 14 pitches. We'll head to the second when we come back.
Is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Except for the second inning with Bob Walk, I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie and Smokowski here as well. Glad you're along with us on this very pleasant Sunday afternoon. Blue skies throughout the Pittsburgh region. Temperature 51 degrees at game time. A little bit of a chill, but down in the sun. Very pleasant for the fans. Might need a little sun glare black or those strips. Might help with the glare.
Yeah, this is an afternoon. Definitely want to be in that sun. It's going to be nice and comfortable. Stay out of the shadows, though. Could be a little cool back there.
Yadier Molina had his second home run of the year last night. Sixth inning. 250. Gold Glove catcher leads off for St. Louis. 2-0 pitch. This one's drilled to right center. Going after it, McCutchen, and he'll make the running grab. He can flat out fly.
And that ball was driven well, and Kutch turned it into an out. I always thought that fast outfielders were better than a good slider. It's more important to have fast outfielders.
Really, I never thought of that as a baseball axiom, but
they make up for not having a
good slider.
I found that out.
You found that out.
Yeah. Guys that can cover ground, catch all your mistakes.
There's another guy who can cover a lot of ground. Got that left center field area pretty much closed down at PNC Park. Alan Craig takes the ball. 1-1. Craig hitting 105, and when you have Alan Craig up, you want to make sure nobody's on base. He hit an unbelievable batting average last year of 448 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. And he grounds out. Just for our youngest Pirates fans, it's the Buckaroos Kids Club presented by Chick-fil-A. Membership gets kids 14 and under a variety of perks all year long, including complimentary ticket vouchers, Chick-fil-A coupons, newsletters, and more. There are 2 membership options, the exclusive gold membership and the no-charge silver membership. To join or to see the full list of membership benefits, visit pirates.com/Buckaroos. 2 down for Johnny Peralta. How about this for a number for Peralta? He's got 2 home runs already. That's half the number of home runs the Cardinals shortstops hit all of last season, and those were his only 2 hits of the year so far.
So last year's shortstops probably had more hits than he has, maybe double.
Well, a few more than just 2, but it was David Descalso.
It all depends on how you look at it.
Well, Descalso had 3. Pete Kozma had 1. That was the shortstop contingent for the Cardinals last year. Omar Gomez, he got hit last night by Peralta. 0-2, curveball, got him looking, strike 3. A 9-pitch inning for Edinson Volquez. He's got 2 strikeouts in the game.
Between the Pirates and the Cardinals here on the North Shore. I'm Robbie Mikowski. Today is Autism Awareness Day here at PNC Park. In partnership with Major League Baseball, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosted families here to those affected by autism, and a portion of each ticket sold from today's game is donated to Autism Speaks. All 30 clubs will raise awareness for the disorder during one home game this month. Today is that day for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Autism Speaks created a guide to the game, which is a visual story to help prepare children and adults with autism for a day at the ballpark. They walk them through the full experience in detail ahead of time, and these accommodations, Tim and Bob, are able to enable families affected by autism to attend their first Major League Baseball game. So a nice initiative, and hopefully those families are having a great day here at the ballpark.
Nice. Very important statistic about autism. 1 in 88 children in the U.S. is on the autism spectrum. 1 in 54 are boys. Thanks, Robbie. 0-1 pitch to Pedro. Pops this one up foul and out of play. And he is behind Adam Wainwright. No balls and 2 strikes. Pedro 4 out of 19 with a home run against Wainwright in his career. 0-2 pitch. That one missed. Remember last inning, Bob, I mentioned that the goal for Wainwright is to have more starts than walks. Last year, 34 starts, 35 walks.
Pedro got a call there.
He did get a call, yeah.
Make use of that good fortune.
And strike 3 call as David Rackley brings him up that time.
Pedro says he stayed there for a while. He was saying, hey, I thought you just called that a ball.
See where it is.
See, now Pedro's saying, hey, but, you know, that pitch was called low before. Why isn't it still low?
David Rackley calling the balls and strikes.
But you can see strike zone that they were both right at the knees.
Brian Gorman, second base. He's the crew chief. Important to know who the crew chief is now. I mean, you know who the crew chiefs are from game to game and series to series, but now with replay, the crew chief has even more responsibilities if there is a replay challenge or a play that needs to be reviewed by the umpires. 2 balls, no strikes to Neil Walker.
Walker with high sock. A couple of guys. Gabby's got him on.
It's a stirrup Sunday today.
Tabado's wearing the high socks.
Well, see, these guys grew up probably never wearing the stirrups. They don't really wear them anymore.
Yeah,
But
you would think that it would be kind of a fun thing that you do it all the time.
yeah. And ball 4. So the stirrups being worn by Gabby Sanchez as well.
Call those Steve Blass socks.
Steve socks.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny how baseball style has changed over the years too. I mean, you know, you wore the stirrups too, but they were low cut pants.
Well, we were made to wear them, so we were trying to cover them up. Right. That's why I'm expecting them to come back, because anything that just kind of set you apart, that's what everybody tries to do. Low pants used to set you apart from everybody. Well, now that everybody tucks their pants into their shoes, eventually, it's going to become popular again to wear the traditional look, and you'll see guys with stirrups. It'll happen someday.
Gabby takes a strike.
It's really, when you think about it, it's a little more practical to have those high pants, playing any kind of athletic endeavor, I would think, than having your pants dragging on the ground.
You'd think so. A lot of guys had been wearing them over the back of the heels. There's a ground ball to short. Backhanded by Peralta to Scalzo to turn. And a double play ends the inning. No score. We are through 2 in Pittsburgh.
Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture, proudly featuring solid wood American-made Amish furniture. For furniture that lasts, shop Levin. Let's go Bucks!
Sunny day, a bit crisp here at PNC Park, and no score through the first 2 innings. Matt Carpenter, the Cardinals, were the only hit of the game so far. Yum. Take bigger bites than that. Take him a long time to eat that.
That's all right. He's got all game to put that baby away.
Daniel Descalso batting first here in the third inning. Number 8 hitter for Mike Matheny's Cardinals. Takes ball 1. Descalso, one of the infielders that will be rotated around this year, with Colton Wong making his first big league roster, starting at second base the majority of the time. Johnny Peralta signed to a 4-year deal. Now Descalso will play both second base and shortstop, starting at second today. Lifts this one in the air to Marte. Starling retires him for out number 1 of the Cardinal third. Edson Volquez in his first start for the Pirates, second appearance. Remember Thursday he pitched against the Cubs, 2 innings of relief.
He's looking pretty good right now. He's hitting the spots with a good command. He's only given up the 1 base hit. Hopefully he'll get out of this inning rather quickly with 30-some pitches through 3 innings. Looking good.
9 pitches last time, so effective so far for Volquez. Wainwright 0 for 2 so far in the season. Now Volquez threw 20 pitches against the Cubs, and it was the day before his bullpen session was going to be anyway, so they just called it a quote advanced bullpen in live action. And asked him the next day how he felt, because the Pirates had a plan B in case he was not able to pitch today. They were going to go with Charlie Morton on short rest today if Volquez couldn't go, but he said he was absolutely fine and ready to pitch, so the Pirates stuck with the original plan. Ball and 2 strikes to Wainwright.
Now watch Edison. You can see how the glove did not move forward. The ball was well out and moving backward before the ball started moving forward. That's one of the things that they've been trying to work with him, to keep that front shoulder locked in. And you know, I'm going to exaggerate it here for a moment, but they want the shoulder in, so when the ball comes out, they want the ball coming out and the glove pretty much staying here. If the glove and ball come apart at the same time, the shoulder is already starting to turn to come out, and now the arm is going to be late coming through. And that's one of the things they've been working as far as, you know, changing the mechanics around a little bit to get that good control back. So now watch the ball's out of the glove. Now the ball's going back and the glove hasn't started forward yet. Now some pitchers will have a tendency, as they break the glove and the ball, that they kind of move away from each other at the same time. And if the glove starts going forward too soon, then that left shoulder, obviously that's hooked to everything, is going to start opening up too quick. Shoulders closed, closed, closed. Now it opens right when the pitching arm, the throwing arm, comes through. You want that kind of timing. You don't want that front shoulder to come open early. That's what messes up the control. Ray's been working a lot with him on the timing of the pitching arm coming through and that front left shoulder opening up. Trying to synchronize both of those.
Volquez looking for a bounce back season. Last year ended up 0-2 with the Dodgers, 9-10 with San Diego, and you know, maybe the techniques you're talking about, keeping that shoulder closed, or one of the things that's going to get him back to where he was perhaps in 2008 with Cincinnati when he went 17-6. Strike to Carpenter.
A nice little pitcher's pitch right on the edge. Wasn't one of those situations where the catcher had to go and get the ball either. He called for it right on the edge. You put it there. Much more likely going to get the pitch called for a strike when you hit that glove.
Volquez got the outside corner call again.
Yeah, same thing. Look where the glove is. The glove's right there. That's where the ball is. Now, if you hit the other side, the other corner, and the catcher's having to reach for it, it might still be on the corner. But since you moved your glove that far, it is not as likely you're going to get the umpire to give you that call.
Tried for it again, did not get the call. Volquez went back to the well and couldn't get the strikeout.
Yeah, that got the edge.
That was closer than the other two.
They're talking about it.
Got him that time. 7 in a row set down by Edinson Volquez.
Think of a guy who's been in the thorn of the side of the Pittsburgh Pirates on the mound. But when you go away from the field, you're hard-pressed to find a more giving guy. Adam Wainwright this past offseason took a trip to Haiti to visit orphanages, and it came at the invitation of the Pirates chaplain, Brad Henderson. Now, Adam Wainwright told me the experience was definitely life-altering, and to go to somewhere that is third world and where poverty is different and you could find happiness in those people, it is quite impressive. He said people like us who are privileged should try to do that more often. He said doing things like this is almost like a requirement for him, regardless of the level of success he may achieve in baseball or in life. And the one thing he added that got me here, Tim. Go ahead.
Sanchez grounds to Peralta. 1 out. Go ahead, Robbie.
The one thing that he added, he said the money that I'm privileged to make playing baseball, his plan is to give a lot of that money back. So look for more stories like this to come from Adam Wainwright, who at last check was trying to develop his own foundation. So a nice way of giving back.
Good solid citizen. Adam Wainwright. Ready to face another good solid citizen right there in Clint Barnes. Out, base is empty. Strike call. Barnes has had decent numbers against Wainwright. 7 out of 21, 333 average with a home run. Finds himself behind in the count, 0-2. Those 21 at bats Barnes has struck out 4 times against Wainwright. As good as Wainwright is, generally, he is nearly unbeatable at home at Busch Stadium. 2-0 against the Pirates in the postseason last year, winning the deciding Game 5 of the league division series opposite Garrett Cole. Michael Wacha, who was stellar in Game 4, took a no-hitter in the 8th. Charlie Morton was outstanding that night, but Wacha was better. And Barnes has himself a hit, his 8th hit off of Wainwright, and the first Pirate hit of the ball game. Pirate fans, we want to see how you root for the Bucks. Be our AT&T fan photo of the day. Show us the most unique ways you raise the Jolly Roger, the fun places you watch the games on Root Sports, or how you display your Pirate pride. Simply submit a picture via Twitter using the hashtag BucksFanPhoto, and we'll show them during our telecast.
Now, this situation's been a little bit of a weak spot early on here. We got to get much better at getting these bunts down, moving the runners along.
Volquez squares. Carpenter on top of him already at third.
Now he's going to be trying to bunt the ball toward Adams. He wants Adams to field the ball. That really Carpenter, whatever he does coming in, he shouldn't even pay any attention to him, because he's not bunting the ball that way anyway. He's going to bunt it to the right side. He's going to try to make Adams field it, because Adams has to stay back and hold the runner on.
One. We've talked about this a lot during spring training. We didn't see the pitchers hit at spring training games, but they got a lot of work at Pirate City and more effective work working on bunts. Of course,
it hasn't shown its head yet.
It hasn't shown its head. You're right, but we didn't get a chance to see it because we were at the games. But they had situations where the games were controlled, so if a guy got on base, didn't matter what the batting order was, they could send a pitcher up to bunt. That's the advantage of doing that at Pirate City in the minor league games during spring training. And get more opportunities to do it. You might get 1 or 2 chances maybe in an exhibition game. This one back to Wainwright. So Volquez gets the job done. Sacrifices Barmes into scoring position, and the Pirates will turn the order over.
Very nice. It was on that right side, maybe not as quite as far as he would like to, but he was able to deaden the ball so it didn't roll out very with any speed to it. He was able to easily get the runner over. If you can bunt that ball out toward the end of the bat a little bit, that will automatically deaden the baseball, and even if you do get it going toward the mound a little more than you like, it won't roll out there very far.
A chance to drive in Barmes. He's 0 for 1. Dribbled back to Wainwright in the bottom of the first. Marte takes a strike. .304 so far for Marte. He's got 2 extra base hits, 1 double, 1 triple. Gets ahead 0-2. Edinson Volquez, good sacrifice bunt. So far, so good on the hill. 3 strikeouts for Volquez.
Did his job. Put a runner in scoring position.
Wainwright's 0-2. 2 strikes to Marte.
Yeah, another thing that pays dividends, or has a chance to, when you put someone in a runner in scoring position, even with 2 outs with Marte, the outfield kind of comes up, plays a little shallow, a little closer than they normally would with Marte up. It makes it easier for Marte to get an extra base hit. with the outfield playing up closer, it's tougher for them to cut down on a ball that's in the gaps. It's easier for a ball to get over their heads. So you never know what might snowball out of some small thing like a successful sacrifice bunt.
Ball and 2 strikes. Time called. Marte requested it. And Barnes will get off of second base again. Marte trying to get him in. No score, bottom of the 3rd inning. Game 3. Off speed that time. One thing that Wainwright worked on a lot during the offseason was his off-speed stuff, changeup included. He started to rely, he felt, a little bit too much on the cutter and didn't think he could pitch to both sides of the plate as effectively. Those numbers might indicate otherwise, but he's got a pretty high standard. And Molina hangs on, a foul tip strikeout. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We'll head to the 4th. Still scoreless. Pirates Charities invites runners and Pirates fans of all ages to the Pittsburgh Pirates 5K Home Run Saturday, April 19th, presented by Highmark and Allegheny Health Network. Race will tour the North Shore and finish on the field at PNC Park. Plus, families can sign up for the Chick-fil-A 1 Mile Family Fun Run. To register, visit pirates.com/5K Home Run. You never know who you're going to be running next to in that particular race. Top of the 4th inning, no score on a Kids Day Sunday afternoon at PNC Park. Edinson Volquez facing John Jay, the center fielder, and delivers a strike. And joining us in the booth right now is Pirates president Frank Coonley. And Frank, big day yesterday for the club.
It was a good day for the club. It was great to be able to keep those guys around here for a long time. I'm looking forward to working with them for a long time in the future.
And, you know, talking to Clint yesterday about that, he just talks about, you know, continuity and the players saying the same thing. They know what to expect when they come to work every day with Clint as their manager and vice versa.
Yeah, it was great to hear some of the player quotes after the announcements were made. Clint has obviously built a lot of trust and loyalty with those players, and they're happy to know that he's going to be around with them for a long time.
It's kind of a nice feeling too to be able to reward success. I mean, it's been so long. We've talked about it many times about the 500 record and all that. To have the organization get turned around like this, it means so much to the area, to the city, to the fans, and obviously you yourself and those two guys, huge parts of this. And just an amazing an accomplishment.
Well, it was nice to have that opportunity to reward that and to show the appreciation of the organization for what Neil has done 7 years now. It's been a lot of hard work, and he and his team have done a tremendous job. Nice pitch, Edison. And then Clint, over the last 3 years, has really come in here and become part of the fabric of Pittsburgh. I was there the other night when he was recognized by the Catholic Youth Association, and it was the day after the 16-inning game, 5 hours and 50 minutes, and then we turned it around and played a day game. And then Clint went on last at 9 o'clock and for 15 minutes just knocked the place dead. So much so that everybody had to get up and give him a standing ovation. So that's Clint Hurdle. He is who he is. He's transparent. He's genuine. And it's great to have him in Pittsburgh.
He has a way of commanding the room, doesn't he?
He does. Now, you never want to have to get up and speak after Clint. So fortunately for everybody else on the dais that night, who all did a wonderful, wonderful job, they all spoke before him. So it's tough coming up after the standing ovation. You're not quite sure if everybody's going to get one of those.
Walker, nice play on Holiday.
The sense that I get about Clint, that he really knows what it means to have responsibilities beyond the dugout. But at the same time, he doesn't take it as a responsibility. He's not doing it because it's a responsibility. He does it because that's what kind of person he is.
He does it because he loves it. He has a genuine love, unconditional love. He talked about that night at the Catholic Youth Association, and talking about loving other men, and that some people are uncomfortable about it. But if you're not into man hugs, you better stay away from Clint.
Here's Matt Adams.
He grabbed me down on the field yesterday. I went out for batting practice to congratulate him formally after the announcements were made, and of course I got a big hug. Still, it felt good on the back, though. I think he loosened me up on the back.
Yeah, he's not a small man. He can put a little force into those hugs.
He's a big man in many respects. Big personality, and we are very fortunate in Pittsburgh to have him here. I was in the press conference when we had Jimmy Leland back for opening day, and Jim talked about his experience of being somebody who was not from Pittsburgh but came here and really became part of the community, and Clint's done the same thing. It's great to see. Great to see Edison Volquez throwing the ball so well today, isn't it?
It really is. His command, his pitches, outstanding. Everything. The breaking ball, fastball, both sides of the plate. Even when he's missing, it's not by much. Just here and there. It really is great to see him pitch like this. Got a little taste of it the other day. Those two innings.
Those 2 innings were
relief.
Outstanding, and looks good today. That'll hang up there.
Make the catch. We'll come back with more from Pirate President Frank Coonley in the bottom of the inning. Still scoreless here at PNC Park, and Volquez looking good.
Look at the leadership, the culture, the tone that Clint's been able to bring to the team really has raised the bar for the organization, raised the bar for the city. And to be able to reward that and celebrate it, I think is important. When you look at the impact that Neil has had on the organization, whether it's going back to the amateur draft, whether it's the impact on the international signings, to be able to create the success, those are long-term decisions, and he deserves to have the confidence and the comfort that he's going to be able to see his next tier of decisions play out over the long term.
It's Pirates chairman Bob Nutting talking about the extensions that were announced yesterday, and Jose Tabata to center fielder John Jay, 1 out. Pirates president Frank Coonley remains with us in the booth.
Frank, I want to talk about Neil a little bit. You mentioned it started 7 years ago, and the success at the big league level the last couple of seasons really highlights the job that Neil has done, but also kind of pushes to the background that it started in the minor leagues, rebuilding the minor league system to get the prospects up here and to have the depth of the prospects, didn't it?
No question, Bob. We said from day one when we came in here, we need to be a scouting and player development organization. That's how we have to build a winner. It's got to be from the ground up. It's got to be a strong foundation within the organization, teaching Pirate way. And everybody says that, you know, in baseball,
sure,
you have 30 teams and they all say we're scouting and player development, but we really need to not only say it but to live it, and we're seeing that. Obviously, Baseball America ranked us as the #1 system in baseball, and I think everybody else has us somewhere in the top 3. That depth is so important, and you see it coming up every year, whether it's injuries or whether it's poor performance. You need to be able to replace those guys.
Exactly, and with the news that came out today, I think highlights again the good work that Neil Huntington and his baseball staff has done creating depth in that minor league system, because now let's say that the Tyone announcement came a few years back, I think it would have had a much more of a negative impact than it does now, because there are other options with what they have done with the minor league system.
Absolutely true, and obviously it's a sad day with Jameson needing to have the Tommy John. It seems like almost every pitcher will have it at some point in his career, so getting it out of the way early, I think will put Jameson in a good position. He's in a good mind frame. Obviously, nobody likes to hear that news. We made sure that we had Jameson go see all of the experts in Major League Baseball who look at these issues. And at the end of the day, the decision was made that it was the right time to have the surgery. He'll rehabilitate. They'll have the surgery, rehabilitate, and then we'll look forward to having Jameson here next year. But you're absolutely right. As you look at our AAA roster right now, Brandon Compton is down there through an excellent first game. I think he had 6 shutout innings the other night for Indianapolis. When he came up here last year, he gave us 5 outstanding starts. Get up there, ball.
This one's headed toward the corner, and it's off the Clemente wall. And into second base is Andrew McCutchen with a 1-out double.
Good to see Andrew going the other way.
Yeah, I like that a lot when he hits that ball hard the other direction.
Another guy that we can't forget about down there is Jeff Locke, obviously an all-star last year, coming back from his oblique injury from spring training.
Stolmy
Pimentel here. Genmar Gomez.
There is depth there. There are other ways to go. It's a great thing to have. It's a great thing to have these doubles too off the Clemente wall.
No question.
That's a beautiful thing.
As you know, Bob, you can never have enough good arms. And I remember you say a couple of years ago, I remember our first year here in 2008, we hit the ball extremely well. You had Nate McLeod had a Silver Slugger year. Jason Bay came back, and Xavier Nady had a great year. But we couldn't pitch, and we had some injuries in the pitching rotation. There's another rocket. Come on.
Hits this one well toward the north side notch, and Holiday is there to track it down. Well, that's a good play by Matt Holliday on a long out by Pedro Alvarez.
That's the spot that makes this a decent pitcher's ballpark. Is balls like this they're out almost everywhere else we play.
That would have been about 20 rows deep in Philadelphia.
Could you just wherever. Not too many places that are going to deny that being at least extra bases. There are times here that not only is it deep, it doesn't seem to want to carry real well that direction either.
But just as we said with Andrew, great to see him going the other way. Pedro with that home run into the Iron City Beer landing area the other night, and then that crushed ball right there to left field. Good to see.
Neil Walker to right field, and this one is going to get to the wall. Around third is McCutchen, and the Pirates lead it 1-0 on an RBI double by Walker.
Now, Neil Walker is one of those areas that you can point to folks that ask, well, how is this offense going to get better? It's the same offense as last year. Well, Neil didn't have the normal Neil Walker type year with the bat. It looks like, watching him hit in spring training, that the at-bats are there, the right-hand hitting is a lot better. That could be one of the answers.
No question, Bob. Neil's swinging a good bat, and he's swinging it right-handed as well. We saw that in spring training. Clinton, Neil had a heart-to-heart. Clinton and Neil Walker had a heart-to-heart at the end of last year about switch hitting and continuing to switch hit or not. And Neil Walker was committed to switch hitting, which he's been doing from the time he was very young. But then he also understood that he had to be committed to being a better right-handed batter. And so far, the evidence looks like he's done it. That hard work is paying off for him.
He thought the sliders from the right-handed hitters, or the left-handers rather, that he'd have to face would be a little bit tough.
Yeah, I can imagine facing them for the first time in your life, really. I think Neil's been a switch hitter since he was 9 or 10 years old. They weren't throwing too many sliders back then before he turned it around.
Not like he's seeing now, that's for sure.
It's not really uncommon for somebody to lose it a little bit hitting right-handed because you just don't get the reps.
You don't get the reps, and particularly in our division. We don't see a lot of left-handed pitchers in our division, which we're playing all of the month of April. We're staying in division, and right now, the way the National League Central is set up, you just don't see a lot of lefties.
2 balls, no strikes to Gabby Sanchez.
Other than here.
Yeah. And the pitch to him. Gabby pops it up foul right side. That'll drift into the seats. Strike 1 on Gabby Sanchez. Talk about depth in the organization too real quick. And go down to Double-A. Nick Kingham had a good start. And there's another name.
He's an exciting prospect as well. Tyler Glasnow, Luis Heredia. You can never have enough of those arms. And Neil, Greg Smith, Kyle Stark, Joe Delicari. They put together a plan where obviously we focused on pitching in the draft early on in Neil's time here, and those kids are coming up and making an impact on the organization.
This one again will go out of play. 2-2 now to Gabby.
You got to have that great pitching. I think we were touching on this when one of the doubles happened, got us off subject, but it's tough to, over a 6-month season, to outslug people night after night after night. You're much better off trying to do it with pitching.
We saw that last year. When you're pitching well, you're in every game. You're not going to win every game, but you're in every game. If your starting pitching is not getting through the first, second, third inning, it's tough to come back every night.
You're going to lose a lot of 8-6 games.
No question.
Wainwright with a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Gabby Sanchez. Walker off of second. Well, the count is full. Will Walker's double scoring Andrew McCutchen, and to see McCutchen, Alvarez, and Walker back to back hit the ball hard off of Wainwright is a good sign.
It is. It's not easy. This guy's a heck of a pitcher. You just watch his work. I saw him before the game. The work that he gets in there, his ground ball, and ran it out hard down the line. He's a competitor, and obviously he's somebody who gave us some trouble in the playoffs last year. So it's good to see some solid contact against him today.
Payoff pitch to Gabby. A little slow roller down toward third. Carpenter charging. And he throws him out. Frank, thanks for joining us here in the fourth.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
All right. Vice President Frank Coonley joining us. Neil Walker fired a shot to the Clemente wall and got McCutchen in. The 5th inning at PNC Park. Kids Day Sunday. Pirates and Port Authority announce a ticket discount to all fans with Connect cards. Get up to $10 off outfield box, lower outfield box, outfield reserve or grandstand seats. Show your Connect card at the PNC Park ticket windows or visit pirates.com/Connect card. Get your discount.
It turned out to be a beautiful afternoon.
It's great today. Really nice today. Got a little chilly last night. Temperatures in the 30s by the end of the game last night, but t-shirt weather today in the sun. Pretty good crowd again here. So far, a good opening homestand. Pirates taking 2 of 3 from the Cubs and leading here in Game 3 after splitting the first 2 with the Cardinals. Edinson Volquez, so far so good. 4 strikeouts, facing Yadier Molina. First pitch is low ball 1. This is the 5th time in Volquez's career that he and Wainwright have pitched against each other. Strike called to Molina. Molina with 2 home runs on the year. Second one last night. Had one on opening day against Cincinnati. He will take a strike. Home run he hit on opening day. Somewhat significant. It was his 3rd career opening day home run. That ties Stan Musial for the most in Cardinal team history. That one is a roller foul. Tony Sanchez jumps on it.
Well, this at bat is really an excellent example of the way Volquez is pitching today. Just hitting his spots, everything right around the edges of the plate. The pitch before the one he fouled off, it was a fastball right on the corner, right where Tony had the glove. It's been impressive.
50 pitches and 34 of them have been good for strikes. One, 2 to Walker. 1 out. Well, if he keeps rolling those ground balls, he's going to be all right. You see him rolling those ground balls to the infielders.
He's in the 5th inning here. He's only thrown 51 pitches. This is an excellent first start here in front of the home crowd. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Right fielder Alan Craig. It's just inside for ball 1.
And that's kind of the pitch I'm talking about. That doesn't miss by much. That's just off the plate by an inch or so. There, you can see where it was. Not when he does miss, it's not by a long shot. The call there was fastball inside corner. Pow, he put it right there with movement. Sea Rage.
It's the name of his boat. His old boat was Sea Rage. Ray Surge's boat. Former boat. Swing and a miss. I think he told us 2 best days are when he got his boat and when he got rid of it.
Look at that breaking ball again, right on the edge. He's not only throwing lots of strikes, but he's not just trying to throw them down the middle. He is, most of them are out on the edge somewhere. That one right on the inside part of the plate.
Another ground ball out. Easy play for Gabby Sanchez to handle.
I think Tony actually wanted that to bounce, but still it's out of the strike zone. It's not down the middle. So Tony wanted that in, wanted it down. He left it up, but still it was on the inside corner, so it didn't hurt him. Got a little off the label, off the handle of the bat. Tony behind the plate, giving Russell Martin a little day off to catch some rays.
Peralta takes a strike. Speaking of catchers, Chris Stewart on his rehab stint already after knee surgery that he had during spring training in Bradenton today. Caught 5 innings, threw out a base runner, went 1 for 2. Sanchez signed down in the 0-1. Now 2 strikes on Peralta. Sanchez did a lot of work with Volquez in spring training. Actually caught his first Pirates appearance. He was in the game Thursday afternoon against the Cubs when Edinson came out of the bullpen. One and 2 to Peralta. Peralta's 2 home runs so far in April, the most for a Cardinals shortstop since Khalil Green had 2 in 2009. Edgar Renteria had 5 in 2000. That's the Cardinal April record for a shortstop. Ground ball right up the middle, and who's there but Neil Walker. 3 ground balls and 3 outs in the top half of the 5th inning. 1-0 Bucks.
Veteran infielder Clint Barmas had this to say about it.
Obviously, it's great, and couldn't be happier for both of those guys, and it's well deserved. And I think it's definitely big for this clubhouse just to know that there is security there. There's really no worry of a job lost or won or however you want to look at it.
And Clint Barmas would know as well as anyone, playing as many years as he did, Tim and Bob, under Clint Hurdle in Colorado. So a lot of people are happy in that clubhouse that Hurdle and Huntington are both secured for the next 3+ seasons, and it provides a lot of stability within the organization.
Yeah, I think the players appreciate, too, the way that Clint Hurdle handles the clubhouse. He knows that's the players' clubhouse. That's their domain. He doesn't interfere in there. And he's created a very good atmosphere as a result. So after Tony Sanchez gets one off the end of the bat down to Descalso at second base, Barmas up. He's 1 for 1. Thing and 1 to Clint Barmas. That's how you'd see it if you were in the front row behind the dugout.
That's where Chris Litwin is with his daughter Erica, sitting right there. They sent us up some homemade beef jerky before the game.
Is that right?
Yep. Delicious.
You've been holding out. I haven't seen it yet.
No, I kept it back behind the curtain, and then I sent some down to the truck. They're not allowed to have food there. They have to walk outside though and eat it. So
1-2 now to Barmes.
Barmes last time up, same situation, 1 out, banged a single to left field on a pretty good pitch. He got a breaking ball that actually was down and away, wasn't even in the strike zone. He went out and got it, put the head of the bat to it, hit it pretty good out there. He took a pitch that I'm sure Wainwright put right where he wanted to and turned it into a hit.
The role different for Clint Barmes this year. He'll play some shortstop. He'll play third. He's even played first. He'll play some second. Two fouled off. Barmes is one of those guys where the most important thing as far as his playing goes is that the ball club wins. Whatever he can do to help, that's what he wants to do. Jordy Mercer's taking over the everyday duties at shortstop. He gets an off day today.
Well, this team really is filled with a lot of players on the roster, whether they're pitchers in the bullpen or the regular players, guys that sit on the bench. They put personal stuff aside and put winning over everything else. And Barmes is one of the main leaders of that kind of thought. It's all about the team.
In the air to center, backing up is John Jay. It's the second out. Well, while we have a moment, we'd like to say happy birthday to Jacob Bannister today. He's turning 12. His dad wanted us to wish him a happy birthday today and says he'll see you later on tonight. Jacob Bannister, the son of bench coach Jeff Bannister. And Banny got him some shoes in spring training, and we understand Jacob's already grown out of them. Not only turning 12, but growing up. Volquez, first ball, swinging, skies it to right. And Craig will make the catch, and the Pirates gone in order in the 5th. We're through 5 full, 1-0 Pirates. Putting it back in the holster for now. Bringing it back out when they hit. Pirates with a 1-0 edge over the Cardinals in Game 3 of this 3-game series. Robbie Smikowski and Bob Walcott and Tim Nevers. So glad you're with us on this Sunday afternoon. Wrapping up the first homestand of 2014. Happy Pirates fans here today. Well, those moves.
Nice. Got to have moves.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Pirates.com for details. Edinson Volquez, good work so far. 4 strikeouts. He's through 5 innings. Yep, just giving up the 1 hit. It was the first batter of the ball game, Matt Carpenter. Facing the second baseman, Descalso. Strike 1. Descalso flied to Marte in left field in the 3rd inning. The 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Pulled the string on it. Oh, the off-speed pitch. 61 pitches, 43 for strikes. One ball and 2 strikes to Descalso with the pitcher Wainwright on deck. Wainwright, to his credit, has done a good job too. Gave up the 1 run on 2 hits in the 4th inning. McCutchen and Walker each getting doubles. Walker driving in Kutch. It's 2-2 to Daniel Descalso. Pirates and Cardinals will play each other 16 more times during the regular season after today. It won't be long before they'll see each other again. End of the month. The Pirates will play the Cardinals in St. Louis, 25th, 26th, 27th.
It's kind of fun playing a series this early in the season that you already look at as having some meaning. It's really different this year.
The way the schedule is very different.
Coming off the last season with the playoff run.
3-2.
Been a long time since you get into an April meeting with anybody and think, wow, this really is a meaningful 3 games. It just hasn't happened in so long.
Well, and I've asked a couple of players this, and I've asked Clint Hurdle to ask you too. You know, the offseason was the offseason. It was a different kind of offseason. There were some good feelings. And then after opening day and getting into seeing how the Pirates are winning games early again, does it seem like a continuation of last year? This ball hit to Marte for the first out of the Cardinals' 6th.
It's a new year, and this is what I'll say is I think common sense would tell you, you look at the rosters on teams and look at what happened last year, and you got to believe that it's the Cardinals. That's the team that you're going to have to beat to win this thing. Everybody all around baseball pretty much picking them as the certainly the favorite. And so when you play them head up, there's going to be a lot of interest because you're considering yourself as a team that's going to win the division. So whether it's the first week of April or the first week of September, it's still, man, this is head up game against a team we got to beat to come in first place. And that's kind of what I mean by some importance on a series this early.
There's a ground ball toward the middle. That's through for a base hit. And Adam Wainwright picks up the 2nd hit for the Cardinals this afternoon. We're mentioning the month of April. We look at our Nissan road ahead. And coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Chicago, then Milwaukee, then the Reds, then the Brewers back here for 4, and the Reds after that. Central Division showdowns early on. That's our Nissan road ahead. Joe Kelly on the right, who pitched last night. Michael Wacha will start opening day tomorrow for the Cardinals opposite Tony Cingrani of Cincinnati.
A lot of good young arms over there in Cardinal red. It'll be tough for a while. It's all right. I mean, it's not supposed to be easy.
That's why it's the big leagues.
And you look at the way the Pirates have played the Cardinals now for quite some time. I think I heard Paul and Teague talking before the game. Last 52, it's 26-26. I don't expect that to change this season. I think every series, every game is gonna, be a flip the coin, and nobody's going to really get the upper hand. At least I don't anticipate that. I think it's going to be hard fought all the way.
Tony Watson warming up. Kind of nice. You have Edinson on the hill, and when he's needed, he can say, "Watson, come here. I need you." Here comes the 2-0 to Carpenter. That's in for a strike. 2-1.
You've been thinking about that for a while, or did that just pop in your mind?
Just lit up.
Just popped in there. All right.
Thought it was a bright thing to say. Enlightening. 2 balls and 1 strike to Carpenter. This one's fouled off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carpenter out of TCU. Likes his alma mater so much he bought a house across the street from the stadium they play at in Fort Worth, Texas. Works out there in the off season. Walks across the street to do it. One on, one out. Wainwright at first. And a ground ball to Walker. Barnes the turn, safe at first.
Tough one to turn. Not hit very hard, and it was in the hole. Hey, Barnes really did a great job making it close, though.
And you get Carpenter coming out of the left-hand batter's box. He's already a step down the line. Allegheny Health Network Super Mo will show us eventually. Carpenter just beating the throw from Barmes.
A quick footwork around the bag for Barmes. Quickly got himself closed up, got his front shoulder closed up so that he could make that throw on to first base. There we can see how close it was. Safe by a smidgen.
Strike 1 to John Jay. Jay has lined out to center field and struck out looking.
Lots of ground balls. It's been a big weapon for Volquez.
First. Brown Chuck, he's going to go Tuesday in game 1 against the Cubs opposite Edwin Jackson. Tuesday night at Wrigley. And that will be a rematch of the starters who worked the 16-inning game that was won by the Pirates. But hopefully the Pirates can get that one done in 9 full on the road against Chicago instead of 16.
Charlie, as long as you win, I'm game.
It's all right. Charlie was ready to go today if needed. If Volquez couldn't go after his relief performance Thursday. Facing John Jay, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jay had a 15-game hitting streak stopped last night. Second longest active streak in the majors until it was stopped. 0 for 1 in last night's game. 15-game streak obviously carrying over to the end of last year. From the end of last year. To the right center field gap, and that's going to go. Carpenter's going to get waved around. He's going to score easily. Jay heading for third. A 2-out run scoring triple, and it ties the game at 1. Volquez had him on the ropes with 2 strikes. And Jay found the alley in right center.
They threw the pitch they wanted to. It's supposed to be a fastball inside. Here it comes, inside corner. But Jay just beat him to the punch. Got it in the gap to tie it up. It seems like Jay has been a thorn in our side for quite a while. I kind of like the idea that he's kind of the 4th outfielder. I was hoping we wouldn't see too much of it.
And last year he hit 400 against the Pirates. And now he's hitting 500, 1 for 2 against the Bucks. But to hit 400, went 24 out of 60 with 11 runs batted in against Pittsburgh last year. Ray Searage out for a word with Edinson Volquez. Volquez gave up his 2nd hit this inning, his 3rd of the ball game. So the line score even right now for both clubs, 1 run on 3 hits.
So definitely a pitching duel to this point.
And the left-hander Watson ready in the pen. They're going to walk Matt Holliday. And then with Adams, the left-hander, coming up, might anticipate Watson coming in to face him. So a tremendous performance so far by Volquez, but now it's a tie game.
If this was a little bit later in the season, perhaps I'll let him stay out there for maybe a little longer. But first start of the year, 81 pitches, and it's been a great start to this point. And they're going to make the change and bring in the lefty.
So Volquez ends up going 5 2/3, and he will leave with the go-ahead run at third base. Tony Watson will come in for Edinson Volquez in his Pirate debut as a starter.
And a nice hand, well deserved.
Fans appreciating the effort. Volquez, number 5 starter, 5 2/3 innings, Ended up with 4 punch-outs, got a number of ground ball outs. Striking out Matt Carpenter in the 3rd inning. He leaves a tie ball game 1-1. Fans gave him a great round of applause as he left. Now
he's in a way, I'm sure he's happy that looking up and saying that what he accomplished, but at the same time he would love to have gone those 6 innings. So he'll be much happier when Tony Watson gets this last out, which you look at those stats from last year, he's real good at.
Carried over to this year too. Wave and a miss, and quickly the count 0-2 on Matt Adams. Tony finished last season by making 21 straight scoreless appearances, going all the way back to August 6th. Runners off the corners. Holiday breaks 0-2, swing and a miss. And Watson does the job for Volquez, striking out Matt Adams. Headed to the bottom of the 6th inning. PNC Park. Nice Sunday afternoon here. Pirates looking for some more offense. Clint Hurdle visiting with Edinson Volquez after Volquez was taken out. Edinson probably a bit more relieved that Tony Watson came in and struck out Matt Adams and left the go-ahead run at 3rd base.
Well, Volquez has been around for a while, veteran guy. That he, as a pitcher that's done a lot of good things and been here for a while.
Good looking bunt by Marte. Carpenter's throw not in time. Base hit.
Great bunt. But back to Volquez just for a second. He's not going to be happy unless he goes at least 6 innings. I think that's why he looked like he wasn't real happy early on. That'll make you happy.
Yeah, this could be a big weapon for the Pirates this year. Bunt base hit in a close game like this.
Well, Marte, not your prototypical leadoff hitter as far as like getting a lot of walks, that sort of thing, but gets hit a lot. He's a good bunter. The on-base percentage is still pretty decent, so I think we'll kind of grow into that role if nobody else comes aboard that can do it any better than he does.
Jose Tabata 0 for 2 today. He's flied to center twice.
And Marte really kind of in that leadoff role more for his speed than any other reason. Obviously, he's an excellent base stealer. One of your faster players in the league.
And Tabata showed bunt. Took the ball. Perhaps trying to get Marte into scoring position.
Yeah, he was scoring around rather early. That was a sacrifice he was going to lay down. Not punting for a base hit.
Tabata had an RBI double as a pinch hitter Friday night in game 1. 339 in his career against the Cardinals. 62 for 183 coming into the game today with 3 home runs. Takes ball 2. Talbot has also driven in 16 runs against St. Louis. Edinson Volquez, 81 pitches, 53 of them for strikes. Pretty economic and effective performance in his first outing as a starter for the Buccos. Talbot can't get the bunt down. 2-1. Right now, all the other divisional teams winning. Chicago ahead of Philly. Milwaukee's leading Boston in the 6-2-0. And Cincinnati ahead of the Mets in New York 2-1. They're in the 8th. Here it is 1-1, bottom of the 6th. Very good ball game this afternoon. And the pitch out, throw down to first, and Marte just got under the tag. Not really the way he wanted to go back into the base, but Cardinals expecting him to run on the 2-1 count, so they called for the pitch out.
Yeah, they certainly rolled the dice a little bit there. You call for a pitch out on a 2-1 count, and that really puts your hurler into a little bit of a hole. Now with Wainwright, as good a strike thrower as he is, it's a little easier. But still now 3-1. The advantage definitely goes to Tabata. Looks like he's still bunting though.
And now the count is full. We talked about it. We've seen it early on. Marte and Gabby Sanchez and now Tabata, position players having issues early on getting the sacrifice bunts down.
This pitcher's also not doing a very good job of that. Volquez got it down today, but Morton didn't get his bunt down.
Fouled off with Marte on the run. 3-2.
I believe Cole the other day was supposed to bunt, but he swung away instead, hit to a double play. So it's way early. It's first week of the season, but still, it's definitely something that needs to be done better, and it's not from a lack of effort. You were talking about that earlier, all the extra work that they did on getting bunts down in the month of March.
And the payoff pitch from Wainwright coming. And Tabata strikes out, and Marte is thrown out. Double play, strike him out, throw him out, and I'm not sure if Marte got a late jump or not. But
well, he's not trying to steal the base. He's not getting a base stealing jump. He's running to stay out of a double play. So he has to. His job one is not get picked off. So he's not going to break until he's sure Wainwright is going to go home. So if Tabata doesn't protect him with contact, he's probably going to be out. Now, if he's just trying to steal this base, then he's going to take a little liberties over there. He's going to increase his lead a little bit. He's going to try to cheat that lead to where he can steal the base. It's a total different approach that he'll have to running. When they tell you to run on a 3-2 count, you're not to get picked off. You're trying just to stay out of double play. So you're not nearly as aggressive with your lead or your jump.
Today's Barrel Automotive League leaders, 2013 National League leaders, and batting average off fastballs. Alan Craig #1, and there's Andrew McCutchen in the middle of the list. 364. You got Three players in the top 5 in the ballpark today, with Molina 5th. Tabata 0 for 3. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. Yadier Molina very, very good at throwing out base runners. Although he, I think, was a bit surprised by Pedro Alvarez in Game 1 Friday night. Pedro swiped second base easy. 2-1 now to McCutchen. Dutch has reached base safely in each of the first 6 games. He doubled and scored in the 4th inning today. It's fouled off. Well, looks like the Pirates are getting things going here in the 6th. Marte with a leadoff bunt base hit.
Pirates going sacrifice, couldn't get the job done. Don't want to beat a dead horse. A little bit of a story early on with the offense, not being able to do the situational things as well as they could.
And McCutchen down on strikes. He's 1 for 3. No runs, a hit. That's it. On to the 7th at PNC Park, even at 1. Tell us how they got their hockey numbers and much more. It's Inside Penguins Hockey, presented by Heritage Valley Health System. Tonight after Penn's postgame on Root Sports, Penguins and the Avalanche tonight. Take on Patrick Waugh's boys in the Rocky Mountains. Bucks and Pucks here on Root Sports. And right now the Bucks and Cardinals even at a run apiece. As we start the 7th inning, Tony Watson to Yadier Molina, fouled off for strike 1. Oh, 1 pitch. Fouled back, nothing in 2. Molina 0 for 2 today. Flat out deep to center. McCutchen tracked it down toward right center in front of the ketchup bottle over near the Xfinity sign. Actually climbed up onto the Xfinity sign after he made the grab. And Molina down on strikes. Watson's faced 2 men, struck them both out.
Went off speed. Change up downstairs. Great effect. circle change. You can see him making the OK sign. And the sideways spin as it leaves his hand. You can see that sideways spin with the slow-mo camera. And that really shows you why that ball not only had the lack of speed, but had that fall-away movement. Started moving down and away from Molina as he started to swing at it because of the spin that was put on the ball.
Alan Craig grounded out to Walker and to Gabby Sanchez. Pedro's got this one. And Craig is 0 for 3. 2 men out for the Cardinals in the 7th.
Nice example there. What happens when you try to pull a pitch away from you? Put it on the ground. Most of the time, you go out and try to pull something out there, it's going to be a ground ball to the left side.
Johnny Peralta struck out looking in the 2nd inning and grounded out to Walker in the 5th. Walker was playing right behind second base where he is right now for Peralta. Ball was hit right up the middle, and I think Edinson Volquez didn't realize exactly where Walker was because Walker made the play, took what might have been a base hit away normally under normal defensive positioning. And Volquez just kind of laughed and chuckled and said, there's a free one.
Those computerized spray charts nowadays. You know where the majority of the ground balls are hit. You put your players there accordingly.
0-2 pitch. And Peralta looks at it. I think we told you earlier, one of the early telecasts, there are 2 teams now that have coaches with titles of defensive coordinators. The Tigers and the Nationals, both with new managers. Brad Ausmus in Detroit and Matt Williams in Washington. And Peralta down on strikes. Watson's faced 4 men. He struck out 3 of them. We've reached the stretch. Middle of the 7th. Pirates and Cardinals tied at 1. We keep you here on this Sunday afternoon and show you all around PNC Park during the 7th inning stretch.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you now to stand.
of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
1-1, Pirates and Cardinals. Pirates with 4 hits, Cardinals with 3. Bucks trying to get on the board against Adam Wainwright late. Wainwright, winning pitcher in Game 5 of the division series against the Pirates. Knocked them out of the season last year. Cardinals would go on and beat the Dodgers in the League Championship Series and then lose to Boston in the World Series.
Wainwright really a workhorse type pitcher. He loves to stay out there for a long time and finish really what he starts. He loves the complete game. Not too many guys like that anymore. And really, to make people feel better about Jameson Taillon and Jameson himself, you look at pitchers like Wainwright, and Wainwright is not really all that unusual. I mean, before he got hurt, he was a workhorse. He was pitching 230 or more innings a year for a couple years before he got hurt. 2011, spring training early in the season, kind of like now, like what happened to Jameson. He hurt his elbow during spring training, had ligament replacement surgery. The next season, in 2012, he's an inning short of 200 innings, leads the team with 180 some strikeouts. Last year, 241 2/3 innings worked, over 200 strikeouts. It really is, this ligament replacement surgery, something that they are very good at. And a lot of times, almost, I would think most times, you come back as good or even better, healthier, stronger than you were before.
Well, a rare sight. A walk issued by Wainwright and Alvarez. We've got 3 of those last night. Takes his place at first base, and the Pirates have the go-ahead run on in the bottom of the 7th. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller time. And later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. So here's Walker. He's got a run driven in already with a double. 1 for 1 with a walk. And Wainwright with 73 wins coming into this game today. Walker can't get the bunt down. 73 wins since 2009. And only 2 other pitchers have 73 wins since 2009. Giovanni Gallardo of the Brewers, and Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers. It took Kershaw 162 starts to get those 73 wins. Gallardo 159 starts. It took Wainwright 134 starts. And considering he missed the 2011 season, as you mentioned, Bob, it's pretty remarkable. Strike 2 to Neal, 0-2.
Well, he's certainly one of the best and likes to stay out there. Hard to get him out. Led the league last year in complete games.
He's one of 4 Cardinal pitchers in their history to throw a complete game, allowing a run or less in a winner-take-all postseason game. Eliminating the Pirates last year in Game 5, but prior to that, Chris Carpenter did it in 2011 against the Phillies in the divisional series. Danny Cox in 1987 in the NLCS against the Giants. And prior to that, you got to go all the way back to 1934 in the World Series. Dizzy Dean did it at Detroit against the Tigers. One and 2 to Neil Walker. Neil down on strikes. Walker 1 for 2.
Kept trying to work Neal away, even with the breaking ball. He trying to backdoor that over the outside corner. Definitely, you can see the older players, or the older pitchers, guys that have been around. They have that game plan. They know what it is they want to try and do to you. They've got those experiences of pitching to you before, having, it doesn't matter, success or not, the experience will help them next time they see you. And it's always a little bit of an adjustment between the hitter and the pitcher. Who's going to make that adjustment to where they get the advantage? Now, Neil will be thinking about that at bat, what he just saw. Just as Wainwright was probably, before Neil got up there, thinking about what it was, how he pitched him, what did he do wrong when Neil got the double.
Fan makes a catch right over the rain tarp.
Nice job of looking it into the glove.
Watched it the whole way, didn't he?
Yep.
Sacrificed the body. Probably not worth going on the field during the game. And Gabby strikes out. I beg your pardon, 1-2. A little ahead. 1-2. This stood up Gabby.
At the very top of the strike zone.
Sanchez stays alive. First start of the season for Gabby Sanchez. A pretty good spring. There was a thought at one point that regardless of whether the pitcher would be right-handed or left-handed, he'd be the everyday first baseman. Travis Ishikawa made the Pirates rethink that a little bit with his spring performance. And Ishikawa has had the bulk of the starts so far against right-handers. Down the left field line, foul. Pedro was on the move. He was already around second base.
Even though there was one out, there's no doubt that it won't be caught. The only question was fair or foul, so no reason for Pedro not to be moving as fast as he could. So if it did somehow stay in that corner, he'd probably been able to score.
He put his speed on display Friday night, didn't he? Check swing and the appeal at first, and Bill Walke says he went. So Gabby strikes out on the appeal.
That bat looked like maybe it just did get out there in front of the plate a little bit. A lot of umpires that kind of, they watch that area in front of home plate to see if the barrel comes that far. Probably not the case, but I know when back in ancient times when I was pitching, I used to think that the darker colored bats gave the hitters an advantage on the check swings because it's harder to see. But I've thought that since then that maybe that's not the case.
Probably not.
Might even be easier to see against the bright white of the uniform.
Tony Sanchez to right center field. This one's going to go to the wall. There's Pedro rounding third. He'll be sent home. Tony Sanchez getting Alvarez in, and the Pirates have the lead 2-1. Tony has done it again. Big hit, Sanchez.
Took that fastball right down the middle. He's not being real aggressive with it. He's just staying back, thinking right center, and it really paid off with the gap shot. 4 RBIs now early on the year for Tony. He's only played in started 2 games so far. So he's making the most of his opportunity. Pedro again showing he can run.
extra base hit. Sanchez ended the 16-inning game against the Cubs with a walk-off winner, first of his career. And now he has driven in the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 7th.
With the early team lead in RBIs, doesn't it?
He does. Now Travis Snyder will pinch hit for Clint Barmas. Ishikawa's out on deck. Pirates getting the left-handers out here in the 7th, trying to pick up another one perhaps. Snyder, pretty good night last night. A couple of hits. In fact, he had 4 straight at bats with a base hit. 7th and 8th inning on Friday, and the 1st and 3rd innings last night. Wainwright trailing 2-1 now. Pirates ahead. And Snyder pulls it to the right side, foul. Tony was slated to begin the season in AAA until Stewart got hurt. Had to have the knee surgery. Stewart rehabbing today down in Bradenton, but Sanchez made his first opening day roster as a result. He has contributed mightily so far. Pat Neshek warming up for St. Louis. And down on strikes goes Snyder. But the double by Tony Sanchez gets in Pedro Alvarez. Pedro was off to the races. From first base, he scored. And the Bucks up 2-1 after 7.
Is brought to you by Day Automotive. We're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Here's our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. And this date back in 2000, Francisco Cordova took a no-hitter into the 8th against Houston. Brian Giles went 5 for 5 with a pair of home runs and a triple as the Bucks beat the Astros 10-1. April 6th, 2000. Tony Sanchez RBI double with 2 outs as the Pirates in front 2-1 heading to the 8th inning.
5 for 5 with a triple for Giles. A good day for the OPS. Huh?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Jody Mercer in at shortstop, part of a double switch. And going into the 8th spot in the batting order is Mark Melanson. Pitched the 8th inning looking for 3 outs, facing the bottom part of the order, 8, 9, and 1. Descalso. And a pinch hitter, and top of the order, Matt Carpenter. Wainwright's day will be done. Descalso lines this one foul out of play down the left field side. Good catch. You know, Terry, our cameraman, knew to be right there. He knew to be right there on top of as the foul ball was headed that way. Right place, right time, Terry. Way to go. He's got good cameraman instincts. 1-1 pitch. And Descalso rips it right at Walker. Nifty backhand.
Very nice play. Ball right off the dirt before it bounced. A little top spin on it, probably.
Ball was hit just below the stirrups of Neil Walker. Some of the Buccos wearing the stirrup socks today. Colton Long, a comebacker. And Melanson handles him. 2 out.
Quick as a cheetah.
Just like Chester the cheetah.
Yep. Yeah, well, looking back through there, looked like Mercer was going to be able to get there in time on that, but still, nice quick reactions.
I know you talked to Mark about the cheetah the other day for radio.
I asked him what the cheetah's name was. He said Chester.
Yep. So the cheetah is Chester the cheetah now. Cheetah that he and his wife met while in South Africa. It was Matt Carpenter at the plate. Carpenter scored the lone run for the Cardinals in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 3. And towards center field, there's McCutchen.
Nice easy inning. Look at that, 6 pitches.
Mark the Shark. An easy 1-2-3 inning. For India against Columbus went 3 for 5 with a home run, 2 singles, and he drove into Nick Kingham in Double-A against Erie. 6 innings, no runs. He struck out 6 on 3 hits, and 19-year-old Luis Heredia. And Bradenton against Lexington. And 5 innings for him, struck out 3. So some of that pitching depth in the minor leagues the Pirates have. Pat Neshek takes over for Adam Wainwright. Wainwright struck out 7 over 7, but gave up 2 earned runs. And Jordy Mercer, who entered as part of the double switch in the 9 spot in the order, gets his first at bat today. 1-1 count to Jordy. Jordy Mercer, a little one hopper toward Descalso. There's one out. And Robbie's got some more on the minor leaguers.
Yeah, well, you mentioned those guys that had the good games this afternoon. Adam Wilk is another one that had a good afternoon. 5 2/3 inning pitch, gave up just 2 runs, and had 3 strikeouts. And Neil Huntington, I asked him about what depth options now with Jameson Taillon gone for the season. He said Adam Wilk had a good spring training. He's a possibility, along with guys like Jeff Locke, who obviously had success in the bigs last year. Phil Irwin, Brandon Compton, Casey Sadler, and also Nick Kingham, who you mentioned. So a lot of people are going to get opportunities now, Huntington said, with the absence of Taillon for the remainder of the season. So we talked depth season, 12 starting pitchers, and may have to dig deep again this year.
It's part of the reason Baseball America voted the Pirates minor league system #1. They've got depth. It'll be interesting to see who ends up making their big league debut at some point during the year. Sometimes things always happen. We saw Brandon Compton last year. We'd probably see him back here at some point, but we'll see. Long season.
Don't forget about Pimentel. I think at some point you're going to see him in our rotation. If not, if it's not necessary this year, maybe next year. But he just too many good numbers, especially last season as a starting pitcher.
Stallman on the bullpen today. Pitch outside to Marte. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
One thing that makes it tough on him for this year is a lot of teams, they don't like taking somebody out of the bullpen, put them in a rotation. They like to bring up somebody that's been starting every 5th day at the AAA level.
Both bullpens busy now. Marte strikes out. Ishak gets him, and there are 2 down for the Pirates. Second time Marte's gone down on strikes. Now 1 for 4.
Left the strike zone, and Marte went out after him. About 6-7 inches outside.
Jose making his first start of the year today, and he's 0 for 3. 200 on the season. Fouls this one down the right side. Two outs, and pretty good part of the order coming up in the 9th inning for St. Louis. John Jay, Matt Holliday, Matt Adams, 2, 3, 4. He'll face Jason Grilli. Looper toward right field. This one's going to drop in for a hit. With a 2-out single.
Right off the end of the bat. But at first he probably wasn't very happy with this, like right about now. But as he watches it, he feels a little bit better about it, because now he knows it's going to be fair and probably not going to be able to have anyone make a play on it. Okay, we need another 2-out double.
Kutch had a 1-out double in the 4th. 1 for 3.
And one of those Tony Sanchez doubles. Man at first.
Except when Kutch hits it where Tony hit it, it's a triple. That happened last night. Put it in that right center field gap. He got 3. Facing Pat Neshek with a very unmistakable delivery. Started with the Twins, was with the Twins for a while. And with the Padres. That was his only stint in the National League. It was in 2011. After the Padres for 2 seasons, he was with the Oakland Athletics.
That didn't feel good.
They call a tow truck. That's your line.
He's walked it off a little bit.
0-1 to Kutch. Talbot at first base. 2-1 Pirates. Bottom of the 8th. Strike 2. What do you make of that delivery from Neshek?
Just your typical sidearmer. He's going to try to pitch you away, get you to chase off the plate away with that little bit of a breaking ball. Comes back inside. This ball's going to have a little sink on it.
Ground ball to short. Peralta will flip to Descalso and get the force out the short way. Jason Grilli will come on. Grilled cheese time. Pirates up 2-1. With a Kutch t-shirt on too. That was a Free Shirt Friday t-shirt a while ago. I assume the Nickersons. Thanks for tweeting that in. Keep those submissions coming on Twitter using the hashtag BucksFanPhoto. Show us how you root for your Pirates. With Bob Walk, Tim Neverett, Robbie Ince-Mikowski downstairs. Jason Grilli on the hill now as he looks for a save. And the Pirates look for a series win. Taking 2 out of 3 if they can finish this one off. They'll get a 2-1 lead. Grilli will face John Jay first. Last year, 33 saves. Looking for his first one of 2014. Bullpen so far has been very good. Watson an inning and a third. 3 strikeouts. Melanson got him 1-2-3. And now Grilli on in the 9th. Last year National League All-Star. One thing we saw in the last exhibition game of spring training, really noticed it then against the Philadelphia Phillies, was that Grilli had flipped a few changeups into his repertoire. Pretty much been fastball slider. And 3-0. Falls behind the first hitter, John Jay. Walks him on 4 pitches, and the time run is aboard in the 9th.
John Jay again. Pretty good to have John Jay as your number 4 outfielder.
He's pretty good. Gets on base. At least every time we see him, he's doing some damage.
Gives you good outfield depth, that's for sure. Matt
Holliday 0 for 6 against Grilli. Pirates looking for 2 in the infield. And a breaking ball in for a strike. Holiday was walked intentionally in the 6th inning. He was the last man that Volquez faced. And now he is behind 0-2. Jason Grilli will be honored tonight as Man of the Year at the 28th Annual National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame and Scholarship Banquet. Pitched for Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic last year. Every so often you can hear him working on his Italian language skills too. Told me last year he hopes to be able to get back over to Italy, spend some time. 1-2, and Holiday fouls it back. He really enjoyed his experience representing Italy in the World Baseball Classic. But coming to get to know a lot of other ball players with similar backgrounds. So ahead of Holiday, 1-2. And a ground ball right back to Grilli. To Mercer. Double play.
Really a nice feed by Grilli. You see pitchers so often, especially in situations like this, you know, the 1-run game, bottom of the ninth, they get in a hurry, they panic a little bit, try to get too quick with this. Watch him, he takes his time, gets his feet set, gets that front shoulder closed, and makes a nice belt-high throw. Right on the money. And now it's much easier for Mercer.
Better than 25,000 on their feet at PNC Park. Pirates 1 out away, and Matt Adams is the hitter. 1-0 to Adams. Adams has struck out twice today. Volquez got him in the 1st inning. Watson got him in the 6th. Two 2-0. Roger waiting to be raised. Let's get this final out here. Big double play after the leadoff walk to Jay. Adams will take a strike.
Right on the edge.
It's all about winning series during the regular season. Pirates trying to win their 2nd straight series. And a bouncer toward Neil Walker in right field. This will do it. And the Buccos take 2 of 3 from the Cardinals. Grilli his first save. As the RBI double of Tony Sanchez in the 7th stands up. And the Pirates take 4 of 6 on the opening homestand. 2-1 the final.
Yeah, excellent homestand, and you know, we talked about it a few innings back about the early, you know, emphasis on this series with the Cardinals. A lot of excitement around town with the fans and the media talking about it. It's great to take the first 2 out of 3 from a team that you're pretty sure you're going to have to beat this year to win this division. And the Pirates really meet the challenge. You can see right there with Clint Hurdle. They're fired up. They, you know, let the Cardinals know, hey, we're not going anywhere. We are right here, and it's going to be a battle this year.
So, Hurdle's Heroes got it done here today. Now it's off on the road. Start a 9-game, 3-city road trip in Chicago on Tuesday. Tony Sanchez drives in the game-winning run this afternoon. 2-1 the final score. Let's send you over to Paul Alexander and Kent Jacoby.
All right, thank you very much, Tim, and what an afternoon.